Welcome to another episode of the Combatosseurs. I'm your host, Manpreet, aka MMA Lock of the Night, and your boy on Twitter at MMALOTN. And as always, I'm joined by my man Tony, aka
What's up?
Tunes.
Yes, sir.
And my man Big Rob is in the back holding it down as always.
Hey.
All right. One thing I want to quickly go over before we get into the actual fight stuff. I don't know if I had told you in depth about my experience at the parade that happened at the Toronto thing. So I'm not going to go over the full thing because I went over that in the last podcast. So if you guys want to check that out, just check the last MMA Lawcast. It was episode 42. But I would you heard what happened after, right? There was gunshots and shit.
Yeah.
So I was nearby and then I got caught in the storm and all that shit. Have you, going off that, have you ever been in a situation where you thought your life was at,
No.
where you thought?
Like out in public and stuff?
Out in public, anywhere,
With
even
a
if
bunch
it's a
of people
car
around?
accident or some shit. Like, was there ever a moment where you felt like my life is at danger?
Oh, yeah. There's always
Yeah.
some moment, especially in a car or something, where you
Was
think
there
you're about
is
to
there
wreck.
one that really sticks out to you? Like, fuck, like
No.
nothing that's crazy.
Not
eh?
crazy.
It's
That must have been a trip, though.
it's
With that
crazy
many
being-
people?
Exactly, the public aspect of it and how many people are
Yeah.
around, and just the uncertainty too, because there was no cell reception. My phone was dead, so that doesn't even matter anyway, right?
Oh, shit.
So like I had
There
no
was
idea
no
what the
cell reception?
There's no cell reception because there's so many people there. So signal was just getting fucked. Like
I
Mr.
would just say
Taylor
real
knows.
quick,
Yeah.
just like if there's too many people and the network is congested, your phone keeps trying and trying and trying, and it just kills your battery, and basically it dies so
Oh,
fast.
I did not know that. Oh,
it's happened to me once before when I went to Nathan Phillips Square for New Year's, and Big Rob had the same
Yeah.
experience too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're in a place with a lot of fucking people,
Yeah.
it's weird that it doesn't happen at like MMA events. Like whenever we've gone to the UFC or something, we've always had good like I don't know maybe that
just-
amount of people. Like
in the stadium, they have what they call them pico cells. So there's all these different cell sites, like hundreds of them
oh
inside.
okay, so
Yeah.
it's able to withstand all that
Exactly.
signal. That's crazy.
That is
Yeah,
interesting.
it was a fucking. I'll tell you more about it afterwards, but it was a fucking crazy experience. I
But
just
yeah,
wanted to
even just
ask
the
you.
amount of people that came out,
Yeah.
it was like 2.5 million or something.
Something like it was closer to 2 million from what I heard, but
2 million. Well,
Yeah.
what is
Wow.
the GTA population is like what 8.8? That's like a
Yeah,
fifth of
yeah.
every person in the
Holy
whole
shit.
city coming out for a basketball
Nuts.
parade celebration.
Yeah.
yeah, it was totally
And
fucking worth it.
That's insane.
I'm still celebrating.
It's-
Let's just put it that way.
yeah.
It's been a full week, right?
Yeah,
Like,
no,
yeah.
it feels like it's been a while since
Yeah,
that happened.
it's
for
only
me.
been a full week. Like
Yeah,
it was last Friday. They fought. What? No, wait, Sunday. Was it Friday or Sunday? I can't remember.
where they won the game.
Yeah, where
I
they
don't
won
know.
the
The
title.
parade was Monday.
Okay, so it was Friday that they won.
Yeah,
the
yeah. The parade
championship.
was only like 4 days
yeah,
ago
yeah.
or something. Yeah,
Monday. God
Oh my
damn.
god,
Yeah.
feels like a while ago.
I know. So yeah, I just wanted to quickly get Tony's opinion on, if he's ever been in something like that.
Wait,
Again,
how was it for you? Like, were there just people like
I was
running
close.
like crazy?
I was really close to the point. Like, have you ever been in Nathan Phillips Square? Have you ever been
I
there?
don't
City
really
Hall.
remember. Yeah, when I was younger, but I
Yeah.
don't remember anything.
So like I was close to it. Like it's pretty big, right? The shooting happened roughly around here, and I was here. So like
shit.
I heard the thing is they're letting off fireworks, so like you didn't really know, whether it was a gunshot or a
Yeah.
firework, right? So initially I thought it was just always fireworks, and then apparently the last couple were actual gunshots. And then you just feel like a crowd, just like you see people coming towards you, and everybody's just pushing, and yeah, you're just trying to make sure you're stepping on something like concrete,
Jeez.
so you don't fucking trip or trip over your own feet or trip over somebody
That's
else.
why big crowds kind of trip me out, because if
Yeah,
everyone
man.
starts running in a direction and
The
you trip and fall, you're
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
fucking
Dude,
get trampled to death.
The fucking weirdest part is like maybe half an hour before that, the person in front of me, I told him like, this is the safest place I ever feel. I don't feel like in terms of a big city we have to worry about anything happening in Toronto. And then fucking half an hour later something like that
Wow.
happens. I was like, but it could have been much worse considering other significant things that have happened, like that thing that happened in Vegas, the Vegas shooting, like that was a music festival, and the guy fucking went off. He had like fucking semi-automatics and
Yeah.
shit, right? We were just lucky it was just a isolated gang type of thing. The guy was looking for somebody specifically. That's what I'm
Okay.
pretty sure. Right
Yeah.
before that, there was a stabbing at Eden Center as well during
yeah,
the
yeah,
parade.
I heard about
So,
that too.
Apparently, there was
It
a
kind of
connection
makes
between the
sense though
two.
when there's a giant event going on and people are going to be distracted or something. It's kind of like
There was
easy
a
to get away
lot
with
of
shit,
cops,
so-
but they got these people pretty quickly too because there were a lot of cops.
Nice.
And you can't regulate weapons or anything in an open environment like that too, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, exactly.
it's just stupid kids. The kid was
It is what it
25,
is.
20, and 18 from what I heard. The suspects. So fucking stupid.
Happens all the time.
I
though.
know. All right, let's fucking move this train along.
Yeah.
So, first thing that we're going to be covering this week is UFC 238. I titled it the Bantamweight Brawl. And we finally got a little bit of clarity. You know, not the type of clarity that I wanted with Henry Cejudo walking out with the bantamweight title, being a champ, and now we just saw recently that he's going to be getting shoulder surgery, so he's out until at least 2020. So that kind of jumbles up the picture a little bit more. But if you want to bring in interim titles to this, we have a clear solution. In my opinion, we should be doing Peter Yan against Aljamain Sterling for the interim title while we see what the hell happens with Henry Cejudo. And then obviously at 125, which is the other division that Cejudo is a champion at, we have Joseph Benavides and Juicy Formiga fighting in about 2 weeks or so. So we should be able to get some clarity in both of those divisions. But first and foremost, what are your thoughts on Henry Cejudo winning and beating Marlon Moraes in such a decisive fashion as well?
That was ridiculous. I remember looking at the odds and like we both thought Moraes was going to win.
We bet on Moraes.
Yeah, and you know, minus 155 or something. And I remember thinking, like, before I was placing the bet, like, everything should line up for Moraes here, but Henry fucking Cejudo, sometimes, like, he just seems to get it done. And then you watch the first round, and you're like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Sick. All right, like Henry Cejudo, he keeps pulling it off. He pulled it off against DJ, TJ. I never thought I didn't think he would win either of those fights.
Yeah.
And then this one, he's getting his ass whooped in the first. And then he comes back against the bigger guy, the faster guy, the better striker, and starts to whoop his ass, just get in his face pretty much.
He got into boxing range, let his hands go to work.
He just pretty much let him, like,
it was
he's
weird.
just,
There was like a
I'll
switch.
get hit. Yeah.
There was like a switch that mid-second round, he just
Yeah.
flipped the switch. He's like, all right, this is what I have to do now. I'm going to get into range, get into
He
boxing
got
range,
into his
land
right
some big
range. That was
spots.
the key. Yeah, he got into the right range.
And he even said like he felt Marlon Moraes kind of like wilting, like he felt
100%.
him, like slowly his energy was leaving him, and then eventually he finished him in the third round. In terms of Henry Cejudo as a champ, and saying like he's triple C and all that type of stuff, what do you think about his persona and
It's
like
obviously
the vibe?
cringy. I don't
it's cringy,
care
right?
for it.
But let me make this point. When's the last time we talked about a flyweight champion this much?
Yeah, fair enough.
Right?
He's
All the other
definitely-
flyweight champion, let's be honest, Demetrius Johnson. So
He's
that's a direct
getting
shot
more-
at Demetrius Johnson.
He's getting more attention than DJ, that's for sure.
And he's doing it in very decisive fashion. I mean,
well,
closer
I
to
don't
the
even-
end, closer to the end of what's his face's Demetrius Johnson's run, he was getting finishes, right? He finished fucking Kyoji Horiguchi. He finished Ray Borg. He finished Joseph Benavides as well.
It feels like to me DJ's resume is getting better as time goes on. Like you see what Horiguchi's done since then.
Yeah.
And you see that DJ just like owned him for 5 rounds and submitted him with a second left.
With a second left.
He TKO'd Henry Cejudo, and I really do think I thought DJ won the second fight. I get that it's
That was a
close.
close
Some
fight,
people scored it for Cejudo, but you could argue that DJ won that fight too, and look what Cejudo's done since then. He went out and knocked out TJ and then finished
Moraes.
Marlon Moraes. Like this version of I think this is Marlon Moraes' first, I guess, legit loss. Like the first
besides the
Sun loss
Sun
is kind of
yeah.
it's got stars around that, but
So he's going to be on the shelf for a bit, for at least 6 months. Do you agree with me in the fact that we should have either? You know what? I don't really give a shit if it's an interim title fight. I would rather just them fight as a main event, Peter Yan against Aljamain Sterling. Just let them headline a fucking fight night and just know that these guys are, for sure, whoever wins this fight is the #1 contender. We don't really need to bring an interim title into this. The guy's going to be out for 6 months. It's not going to be a full year.
But you know what the thing is? I think Sterling at this point, his next fight should be for a title either way. So they should probably just make it for the interim belt.
But so do you think the
For
person
his
who
sake.
wins that fight? So okay, let's try to plot out a timeline.
No, Peter Yan
End
versus
of- it's
Sterling
end
is
of
not
June
really
right
a
now.
title fight. That's for sure.
Yeah, end of June right now. When would they fight? Realistically,
Like 3 months maybe.
so what would that be?
July, August, September.
September, end of September, early October-ish.
October.
And then Cejudo would be ready what, early next
February
year?
maybe. So they could do that turnaround to February or March.
Like I don't see the need to put an interim title on them strictly because we know the next fight after this is going to be a title fight.
Oh, fair enough. But I just know, the way the organization works, I feel like they will do it.
Also,
I don't mind it. I don't mind it because of Sterling's past couple
Resume?
of wins.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he did get knocked out by Moraes, but when you look at it, like, the 2 guys ahead of him are coming off bad losses,
Yeah.
now, and they need to kind of recover. He's easily number 3. He just beat number 4. What else? What other fight is there realistically for him other than a title fight? So even though Yan versus him wouldn't be like I guess a legit title fight based on rankings and all that, I can see them doing it because Sterling's next fight should be for a title.
But Peter Yan should be ranked pretty high now after beating Jimmy Rivera.
What's he at? Yeah.
I'm trying to see where the hell my mouse is at here.
Yeah, where is it?
Yeah, this thing is on too. What the hell?
Yeah, the rankings are up there, right?
Yeah, I don't know where the
Left hand.
mouse is though. That's weird. Rob, give me a hand over here.
Take a quick look.
Yeah.
Technical
there we go.
difficulties. It's a back in view. Jimmy Rivera was what? He was ranked like
Where's the mouse
8th
at?
or 7th?
He was 8th or 7th.
No, or was
well,
Peter
Jimmy Rivera.
Yan?
Well, before when he fought Marlon Moraes, he was like top 3.
Okay.
Right?
No, yeah, no, I'm talking about when he fought Yan.
When he fought Yan.
When he, I think Yan's probably like 6 at the most. I would say maybe 5.
But either way, I think that he's deserving of at least a top 5 ranking. Like, let's be real. With Peter Yan, and especially the way that
You
he
think
beat
so?
Jimmy Rivera too, I think that he's deserving of a top 5. If Aljamain is top 5 too, right?
I don't necessarily know that. I think Aljamain Sterling's win over Rivera was more impressive as a whole performance, because Yan like he rocked him at the end of the first 2 rounns, but outside of that in the second round he was actually losing. Like you could argue he was losing. Before yeah.
All right, so let's see. Peter Yan's number 4 now.
Oh,
Aljamain
Sterling
number 2.
has officially moved up to 2.
Sun Tzu's at 3. And
Wow,
he
Yan
has,
is 4.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Who's the Sun Tzu facing? Corey Sandhagen. So that should be a good fight too.
Man, and honestly, the top of the division is like they're all in bad spots, eh?
Yeah, look at all the
Munoz-
people moving. Well, I guess they all moved down because
look at
of
this.
Peter Yan, right?
Look at this. Number 1, Marlon Moraes coming off a bad loss.
Yep.
Sterling is the
Win.
only one on a good streak. Sun Tzu coming off a bad loss.
Yeah.
Okay, Peter Yan, he's going to streak. Munoz off a loss. Cruz injured off a loss. Garbrandt off 3 losses. Rivera off of 2 losses. That is
So
not
you
that
got
great.
Sandhagen, Lineker, and Stamen after them at that point. So at least there's a glimmering hope with Sandhagen, Yan, and Sterling to kind of revitalize this entire ranking.
Honestly, by default, the only fight to make is Sterling and Yan. Like, there's like,
I wonder what Cody Garbrandt's going to come back to.
yeah, I wonder
Like what?
that too.
Maybe him against Rivera.
Honestly,
they're both
that
coming
wouldn't be
off
a bad idea because they're both coming off like bad losing skids.
Yeah.
I think Rivera's 1-3 and Cody's coming off 3 in a row, so that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Redemption fight for both top guys that haven't fought, or they can give him a young up and comer on a win streak to try and get how sometimes they do that to get the young up and comer up the
Just
rankings.
to get a W.
Yep, and then it's also kind of like a redemption fight.
So Peter Yan and Aljamain Sterling, we obviously know that they're probably going to fight each other, if not fight the champion. How do you think they match up? How do you think they, like, style versus style? Does Aljamain Sterling, continue to improve his striking, his grappling? I think Peter Yan. I think Peter Yan is great. Like, I think that everywhere, he's going to be the more technical striker against Aljamain Sterling. I don't know 100% about the grappling aspect. I know he has really good sambo, but I don't know how that's going to play into Aljamain Sterling's wrestling. Essentially, I would probably give Aljamain Sterling the advantage in grappling as well, in terms of jiu-jitsu, sorry. So I'm not sure how I see that fight playing out. I think right now, I kind of lean Peter Yan.
Oh really? No, I think I think Sterling would win. I think he would stifle Yan, kind of the way he did with Rivera or.
I think that's the difference. Because
he's
Peter
a
Yan,
more mature fighter.
I think Peter Yan has a little bit more of a little bit more firepower and consistency than Jimmy Rivera. Because even in that,
that's
even
for sure.
in other fights
that.
from Jimmy Rivera, like he's more of a wait blitz kind of guy. Whereas Peter Yan, he's
in your
throwing.
face. But that's also like he's kind of young in that sense. Like I think Aljamain Sterling is a more mature fighter, and I think in terms of like fighting smarter, he would be able to get it done. Like he'd stifle. Like Peter Yan might just be a little headstrong, coming in, trying to get him, and then Sterling is so good at keeping you at his kicking range or really far out, so that you can't really come in and hit him. Mm-hmm. I just feel like he would.
You think
stifle
that he'll
him
be
in
the favorite
sense.
going into this fight, Sterling?
Yeah, I would.
Interesting.
Here, I'll give you the odds right off the bat.
Wow.
The first number that came into my head, I would do.
Note this shit.
I would think minus 200.
Damn.
Sterling, and about plus 160 on Peter Yan.
I think you're going to be
those are-
surprised. I
Yeah?
think you're going to
Okay.
be surprised.
All right.
As the
yeah,
famous Joe
that's how I
Rogan
would-
says, I think you'd be surprised.
Do you think Yan might be the
I
favorite?
think Yan will probably. It will be very closely lined, but I think it's going to be slightly favored for Yan.
Okay,
I
one
think
of those.
a lot of people, especially bettors, are really high on Peter Yan. Like
Interesting.
all of his last couple fights, he's been like crazy odds. Even against Jimmy
It was
Rivera, he's like minus 400.
400,
minus
yeah.
350,
That was
minus 400,
ridiculous. The odds were
right?
not what they should have been.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of a close fight outside of. Well, I think did Rivera win the third round? I believe he might
I
have won the
believe
third round.
he was favored in that third round.
And in
yeah.
the second, you could have been argued he was winning until he got rocked at the end. And then the first, Peter Yan definitely won that round.
I don't know. It's interesting that we have two different views on that because I don't know. I might have a little bit of bias as well because I'm a big Peter Yan fan. But just from everything that I've seen online, other handicappers, everybody's just been saying like Yan is the bantamweight's fucking uncrowned king essentially. I would love to see him against fucking Henry Cejudo. I would love to see him against John fucking Lineker. Like that's one fight that I
Oh
wouldn't
my
mind
God.
if Peter Yan. You know what? Fuck the title for a minute because
That
I don't know if
would-
John Lineker's ever going to be up there. But let's throw down.
That would be a barn burner.
How fucking crazy.
They would just meet in the middle and just go at it.
I think that would be the best bantamweight fight in terms of sheer entertainment
Yeah.
since Cody Garbrandt and Thomas Almeida, if you remember that fucking fight.
Yeah, that one round.
Like the anticipation going into the fight, we're like, yo, these guys are both strikers. They're fucking vicious. This should be insane. That's how I feel about this specific matchup
I think
as
so
well.
too. Because Yan is young, he can take a shot. Lineker has like the best chin ever in the history.
In ever.
Just ever. He can take a
So
shot.
we were supposed to have a pretty significant bantamweight fight on the card that's coming up with
Yeah,
John
Lineker,
Lineker and Rob Font. Do you think if any, whoever came out victorious in that fight, do you think they would like have any stake in that top 5 range?
No, absolutely
Nothing?
not. Maybe top 10. I
Top
would say
10?
6 to 10.
It's interesting because I believe they're at, what are they right at? 10 and 12. Lineker's 10, Rob Font's 12.
Yeah, Font's at 12. Yeah, man, just 6 to like even if you're Lineker and you want to fight up, right? You shouldn't probably get a top 5, and then 6 to 9 is just like they're not.
Like who is that? Lineker
Great
versus
fights.
Garbrandt is still like one of my fights that I want to see.
Yeah, but that's just not the right fight to
Not
give
for
Cody
Cody,
Garbrandt.
no,
My
no.
God, after
Cody
3
needs to chill the
knockout
fuck out,
losses,
yeah.
here's hands of
But
stone.
hey,
Lineker.
if he like comes into that fight and sticks to his game plan and like shows everybody like this is the fight I could easily just go fucking punch for punch, but I'm not going to.
Let's be honest,
Right,
He
he's not
should
gonna.
have won the Munoz fight. He was.
Oh yeah, he was fucking
better.
easily winning that shit.
He was so fast, light
Oh.
on his feet, in and out. He was winning the exchanges. Then I think
No
he got
doubt about
headbutted, and then he just
Yeah,
went
then
into,
he like saw red. And he's like fucking.
yeah, and then just
Just
I'm
fucking
gonna
went-
stand here and swing and play the chin game. Yeah, you're gonna lose that.
But again, like we said on the last episode, he's acknowledged that.
Yeah.
So let's hope he's gonna fucking actually come back and use those words and figure this shit out. That's pretty much it for the Bantamweight Brawl for me. I'm not sure if you have anything that you want to touch on it. Like again, moving forward, we got a 6-month wait for Cejudo to come back, and then we want to see maybe Aljamain Sterling and Peter. Do you prefer them fight each other, or do you prefer one to wait?
Man, just it feels like the wait might be too long.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I think they should.
If
match up.
1-2 were wait, I would say Aljamain Sterling, and then maybe we could get Peter Yan and fucking John Lineker in the meantime. But yeah, I think Aljamain Sterling is definitely the most deserving.
Yeah,
out of the
easily
two.
in terms of his streak,
Yeah.
what he's been doing. Yeah, 100%.
Let's not completely overlook Marlon Moraes either. Like he is sitting there at number 1, but I'm not going to take this performance too much away from him. Like I'm
That's a
sure
bad
he could.
loss.
I'm sure he could come back and figure it out. Like I feel like he's an intelligent fighter. He has Mark Henry in his corner too, so I'm sure they can fucking figure it out. Right?
The problem seems like skill wise, he's a monster, but it was like I don't know if it's a cardio and a mental thing or just a mental. He just seemed to fold.
But we've seen him go 5 rounds before. Like it's
yeah,
not
but
like
not
it's,
at that pace.
Yeah,
like if
that's exactly.
He
He
set
was
the
going on a
pace.
crazy pace.
This
going
was
on a crazy
Cejudo
pace.
just getting in his
Yeah.
face
Yeah,
and
yeah.
forcing him to brawl. And
Well,
then
even the
tiring him
amount that
out.
Marlon Moraes was throwing in that first round was probably a little bit more.
Even
than
in the
he
second
should've.
round, when Cejudo was walking him down, Moraes
Yeah.
was trying to plant and swing a little too much. I think that drained him a lot too.
Yeah.
He said I think he said he was like really tired. But even just the way Mark Henry was trying to get him pumped up in the corner, and
know,
talking
that
about
was a little
mom and
weird.
stuff, I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, this is a bad sign.
Moraes versus Garbrandt. Let's sulk on that one for a little bit.
Oh my
How
god.
fucking nuts would that be? All right, let's go into our most impressive performance of the last 2 weeks. I'll let you kick this one off.
I think it has to be Cejudo over
Okay.
Moraes
Cool.
because, man, like you can't be doing worse in a fight, and you can't be at more of a disadvantage going into the second round of a title fight with that much on the line, and then to finish a guy that doesn't even lose, let alone
Yeah.
get finished before the third round is up, just destroying him like that was ridiculous.
That might be the best Henry Cejudo we've seen.
Ye-
Like in terms of resilience, and then coming back and fucking getting it back, like making the in-game adjustment to, capture
Fair
victory,
enough.
right?
Yeah, I think it was probably like this definitely his gutsiest performance,
Yeah.
but I don't know if it was necessarily his
'Cause
best.
we
I
can't
think
really
you
say
could
anything
argue-
about the TJ fight because
I think you could argue his second DJ fight might
DJ
have been his
fight?
best performance.
I guess as an overall performance,
Yeah.
like to hold a candle to the fucking goat.
Because you could say it's debatable if he lost that round 10-8. I would probably give him a 10, Moraes maybe even a 10-8 for that. I mean, it was just a consistent whooping and not much going the
Cejudo
other
looked
way.
so flustered. I wish I could have seen like the live odds on fucking Cejudo at that point.
Probably
it
like
must have
plus
shifted.
1,000 or
Yeah.
something going into that second
Something
round.
crazy. Yeah, it must have been.
Then he finishes him in the third. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'd have to go with him. I think I had what was the other one on this card? I think I
238?
swear I had a shout out one on this one. Oh yeah, kind of. Like Shevchenko over I just because of how nasty the head kick was, but I wouldn't call it too impressive because it's just Guy.
Yeah.
But
True.
the knockout itself though was
Shevchenko lived up to what she should have.
exactly
type of fight.
exactly. In fact, it was one of those where you're like, oh, I hope she doesn't hurt her too badly, and then you're like, oh, okay, she hurt her worse than what her fears were. Like it was like that
That's
bad.
so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember like even the broadcast table wasn't even like, oh my god. They were like, oh shit.
Oh my! Did you watch the
DC
Thrill and the
one.
Agony
Yeah,
video?
I saw DC
where
and-
DC's like leaning
Yeah,
over.
yeah, yeah.
Oh
It's like,
my
fuck
god!
this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
that
it
was
was
nuts.
just even
Her
the craziest
coach?
was Valentina's coach.
Yeah, Valentina's
Like
coach.
he as soon as she knocks out I, he just
Yeah.
kind of like oh
Yeah.
god.
We knew this was gonna happen. But
Yeah.
not this
Like he
devastating.
just knew how
Yeah.
good she was, and it wasn't even a question that she was gonna win. He was more worried about how badly is she gonna hurt the other girl. Like that's what it seemed
I'm
like.
so surprised that everybody thought that she was gonna win by decision as well. Because I felt like
she
just
does
with,
point fight.
she kind of point fights, but she's quicker, stronger,
Yeah.
and she's just better than Jessica
In every
everywhere.
way, in
and I
every
think
way.
that just Jessica's holes, in her stand up left so many openings for Valentina, and she fucking found them in the best way. 26 seconds into the second round, like the best
Body
way
kick,
possible.
body kick, body kick, body kick, body kick.
I'm gonna
and
set
head
you.
kick.
I'm gonna set you up. I'm gonna do the most amateur fucking setup by just smashing your body and then eventually going high.
And it did actually sound like a
Yeah.
baseball bat to the
Oh,
dome
so
too.
disgusting.
It was nasty.
So
yeah.
I was gonna go with Cejudo, but I wanted to go with Valentina as well. Again, she went in there and did what she needed to do as like a minus 1,000 favorite. But let's think about it in the other way too. If she just went out there and decisioned just Guy, people would have been like, she was supposed to be
Forgettable, yeah.
Yeah, but she went out there and made a fucking statement. Like I bet you, who the fuck else? She's fighting what? Liz Carmouche next. Liz Carmouche is probably shitting herself right now. But then again, she does hold a victory over Valentina Shevchenko, which is
By
fucking
TKO
weird.
stoppage.
Yeah, but that
But
was.
I'm pretty sure it was definitely on the
that's-
ground, probably by mount or something.
But her jiu-jitsu is pretty good too. Remember what she
Now
did
it
to Juliana
is,
Pena?
but
Yeah,
that was
true.
early in
When
her
was that?
career. She
That was her 8th fight.
yeah, that was 2010. That's 9 years ago.
9 years ago. Touche. Return to
Ever
bantamweight.
since then, she's been a monster.
Yeah, Nunes lost, but like
I remember when she was still developing. She had that close fight against Kaufman, but it was like I
Yeah.
think she debuted in the UFC.
That was
You're
her
like,
debut.
oh shit, you beat Sarah Kaufman.
Yep.
I remember thinking that was a big deal because I'm like, wait, who is this girl? She beat Kaufman. Then I remember she was coming off the Nunes loss. Then they matched up Home with her, and I'm like, why is Home fighting this
And we went
Shevchenko
there for
girl?
that
Like,
one.
what the fuck?
We were actually
and then
there for
she
that one.
easily handles Home. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, what the hell? Yeah. So, and I also thought she beat Amanda Nunes the second time.
yeah, split decision too. I gotta watch that fight again to even.
Man, I really think it was clear.
Well,
that-
at least then if you feel that way, there should be a lot of other people that feel that way, and so hopefully we can eventually see them fight each other again. Because again, the whole thing about this is like, actually, we're going to touch on this a little bit later, so we shouldn't dive too deep in it.
She might be the
But
best female fighter when you think about
She
what
might.
she's doing in different weight classes and like Amanda Nunes, look at who she's
let's
beaten in
let's
her
save this.
resume.
Let's
Yeah,
let's save
okay.
this for this next segment. So
Okay.
actually, it's going to be in the double jab, so we'll save it for that. I don't want to dig too deep into it, but I personally thought Shevchenko had the best performance because again, even though she was expected to win, she wasn't expected to win in this specific manner, like to completely demolish
Well,
this guy.
like you said, it had so much of a likelihood of just being another okay, cool, yeah, she won and forgettable fight. But even though she was fighting someone that no one thought had a chance, she still managed to create
Yep.
buzz coming out of it just because of how brutal that
Yeah,
KO was.
rather
So that
than
is
just,
impressive.
Yeah, she beat Jessica.
Yeah, that's
she
super impressive.
fucking murked Jessica I. Like,
Yeah.
that's the best thing you could come out
Yeah.
with, especially if you're a minus 1,000 favorite.
Exactly.
You know,
Like to do something like that where it's like, oh my, there's so many other outcomes and
Yeah.
any of them would lead to like a forgettable thing, whatever for you, and you managed to like
make
holy
it something.
shit, yeah.
Take something and make some.
Yeah.
Take nothing and,
And make something out of it. Yeah.
All right, let's move along to our next segment. We got the Bellator 223 recap. They had a decent card. They had a very decent showing this past weekend. Let's start off at the bottom of the main card. We're gonna go with Kyoji Horiguchi versus Darian Caldwell.
Yeah,
I had fucking Caldwell in straight play and a parlay, so that fucking busted. Obviously, I thought going into this fight that I was going to be a lot more favored for Darian Caldwell due to the fact that they're in a cage. You know, which is interesting because it played out in the completely opposite way. It helped Horiguchi, if anything, in my opinion. Like
He kept threatening to use it to get up off the
he kept
cage.
threatening for a guillotine. He could use it to post up. Like he could, that's how he was throwing his strikes. That's how he was able to, keep Darian from, being able to open up. Caldwell was forced to focus on keeping him down.
And throwing nothing.
Exactly. That first round, he threw some good shots.
The first round was easily for Caldwell.
Easy.
He easily won that round.
But then I guess his gas tank started to catch up with him. Horiguchi was, being more resistant than Caldwell probably was expecting him to be.
Easily winning stand-up.
Right? And then, the cage, which, again, for most people that bet on Caldwell, they thought that was going to be the advantage. In this aspect, I thought it was the disadvantage.
But you know what's funny? Horiguchi actually said that he prefers to fight in the cage.
Perfect.
He actually
I
made
guess
that
I knew that
statement
before
going
that
in.
fight. Fuck.
Yeah.
Like, it makes complete sense now because
Yep.
you can't get the same type of posture that you can on the ring, the ropes of a ring, right?
Yeah,
Like,
he probably likes it for getting up from wrestlers because he likes to strike more, but he has solid
and then
grappling.
you can just wall walk or like threaten
Yep.
with posting off the wall. So
Clearly, we know why now because that's probably one of his like major defenses of getting up is to get up along the wall of the cage, and he can't.
so
do
he was
that in
just
the
doing
ring.
what pitter shots, those 2 to 5.
That was enough to win.
That was enough to win.
Literal like love taps with the side of your hand.
Just because Caldwell was fucking.
because it was something.
Yeah.
Like if Caldwell landed like one good elbow, he probably would have just won the round. But literally doing nothing. So
He was
pitter-patter.
literally just holding on to
So
his
love
hips.
taps
It was
win.
like right under Horiguchi's like belly button that he was trying to hold on to.
Yep.
Just the hips, just trying to keep it
If
down.
you win on damage by love taps like this,
Yeah.
there's
Did you
an
see
issue.
afterwards? There's a video of Caldwell
Pissed off.
backstage. Yeah, you saw that? Y'all know I won that fight. Y'all know I won that fight. And then he smacks the camera. the guy
Yeah,
who
yeah, I
does
heard about that. I'm like,
Dude.
no, everybody scored it for Horiguchi, and
If
nobody was
you
complaining.
lost like that, like if they gave you the fight and you were in Horiguchi's shoes, you probably would have been pissed.
100%.
Think about that.
Who said it? I think Luke Thomas said that going into the decision, he thought the judges were going to fuck it up and give it to Caldwell.
I kind of thought they were too.
Really?
I would have scored it for Horiguchi, don't get me wrong. But, like, knowing the state that we're in, like,
Fair enough.
Not like the actual
But I
state
just
that
think
they're fighting in, but
Caldwell
just
did
like,
absolutely nothing besides hold him, and like that really played into it.
yeah.
Surprisingly, I was not too worried about the judges fucking that one up. I thought it was going to be easy 3-2 at least Horiguchi, if not 4-1.
It kind of sucked, though, because obviously I had money on it, so I was just like,
Yeah,
bitch.
but that's a
But-
big win for
I know,
Horiguchi.
absolutely. Two company champion now, 2 promotion champion.
And what's his last loss? Demetrius Johnson.
Motherfucking
Oh
Johnson.
no! Oh, that makes him look terrible.
I
Like,
wonder if once Horiguchi's contract goes up, that the UFC would make a play. 'Cause he could-
will he want to? He's just tearing it up between all these
Has
other
he cemented
organizations.
himself as the greatest Japanese fighter?
I don't know.
Well,
I don't.
You
I-
got
it seems-
Sakuraba up there,
yeah,
but
it
that was
seems
kind
like
of
everyone
that was
talks
kind
about
of our
Sakuraba.
that was before our time. Let's be real.
yeah,
Like,
it
before we
truly
start
was.
watching UFC MMA.
Who else do you got? Okami,
Yusho
maybe.
Okami, his biggest thing was just
Horiguchi's
stepping in the
definitely-
same cage as
skill-wise,
Anderson Silva.
Skill-wise, Horiguchi is the best.
Yeah.
Not even like in terms of all aspects of MMA, he's so good.
There's no other
He's so
Japanese fighter
fucking
that
good.
comes
He's
to mind.
amazing. What's his record now since the DJ fight? Like 10-0, 11-0.
Let's pull this bitch up.
He's had so many fights since the DJ fight. So he was 15
Oh
and
my
2.
god, I thought it was higher than that.
Yeah,
So we got-
50.
sorry,
He was 15 and 2, right? When he lost the
he was
DJ
15 and
fight?
2, and
And now he's
what,
25 and 2.
28 and 2.
28 and 2. He's 13 and 0 since the DJ fight.
Fuck.
That is insane.
It doesn't even
And
feel
he's-
like it's
how
been
many-
that long since he's been out of the UFC. April 2015, he left the UFC.
And in that time, he's fought 13
Oh no,
times.
wait, sorry. Was it 2015? No, sorry.
Yeah.
November
September.
2016. November 2016 was his last fight in the UFC. Sorry, that's what I meant. Because he didn't lose and then get cut. He just
Yeah, he won
left.
3 in a row. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he left. So outside of the UFC,
and now
he's
been
won.
destroying.
He's won 9
everybody.
fights outside of the UFC.
And
So,
look at the names that he's beaten.
I know,
Like Ben
fuck.
Nguyen, I think that was his first fight after getting cut from the UFC. You could
was it?
Yeah, and he murked him.
No. That was not his first fight.
No?
That was his second last fight
Oh, okay.
for Risen. Yeah, he beat Hideo Tokoro, who's a big
man, he's got some big wins.
Ian McCall and Darian Caldwell times 2. So, good for Horiguchi. I'm glad that he fucking got this win. It's great to have a guy that's able to be like 2 promotion champions. So I think that's only good for MMA. I know we're never
yeah.
going to see the UFC do it. I don't think we'll see the UFC do it until like Dana White has left at least.
Yeah,
'Cause I think
he
Dana
decided
White's
10-year deal.
balls are too big to be like, fuck you guys. I don't want to deal with anybody else. UFC is the best. If you're a good fighter, come to the UFC. We'll pay you handsomely. Otherwise, fuck these other guys, right? Moving on, we had Juan Archuleta and Eduardo Dantas. Archuleta, you know who the fuck Archuleta is now, don't you?
Oh yeah, that was brutal. That was brutal. I guess Dantas probably shouldn't have gone up to featherweight.
No. We thought that would probably help his chin.
I mean, he was looking pretty decent, but
Archuleta was just
man.
quicker. Archuleta
Yeah.
was just... He's such a beast. I'm excited that he was like calling out Horiguchi too, because that was pretty cool. He could go down to 35.
I thought
and
that
fight
was
down there.
ridiculous.
Why not?
He's too big. He's at featherweight. Horiguchi's really a flyweight.
But he fights at bantamweight too, Archuleta.
Archuleta fights at bantamweight?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. I actually...
He's
wanted-
been a 55, 45, and
He
35
fought
champ.
Bandeas at 145 as well.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, they're 145ers. Okay, I didn't realize he fought at
He
bantamweight
can
as
fight at 35 as well, which is why he was calling him out.
But still, I don't know. He fights at featherweight right now. Horiguchi flyweight. They're
You
so
can't-
far apart. I don't think he's a big enough name for Horiguchi. I just don't see why Horiguchi.
I hope they
would take that
push
fight.
him, or they push him, because he's like 22 and he has a fucking crazy record himself. Let me fucking pull that up. Before I
Yeah,
get it wrong.
he's out of TJ's camp, right?
He's out of TJ's camp.
What are they called?
23 and 1. Body Shop? No, something else. I can't remember their name. Eduardo Don. Or what am I looking at?
Okay.
Oh, his record.
decent.
Yeah, to 22 and 1.
I think he's still. Don't you feel like he needs some sort of a bigger win first before he starts to call out a
fucking
Horiguchi?
resume, dude. Who's his lost? Is it even a name? No.
He's at featherweight, right? Shouldn't he? Why isn't he calling out the Pitbull brothers or something?
I guess you could do
Or
that.
the one Pitbull brother.
But
who's got both
Horiguchi
belts.
has like the most rub right now too, right? So
Yeah, I guess, but I don't. That if I was Horiguchi, there's no way in hell I would have cared to make that fight. Too big of a guy and too small of a name, relatively.
Yeah, I guess the payoff wouldn't be enough if you
Nope.
even got that victory. Did you watch the Patrick Mix and Ricky Bandejas fight?
I did not.
That kid looks like a beast. Patrick
Oh
Mix.
yeah, it was like a minute in. Oh yeah, I think I saw highlights of it. So
Yeah.
I probably saw most
He
of it
literally
actually.
he
where
like tried going for a takedown, eventually got
Yes, I
Ricky's
did.
back and just
Yep.
fucking tapped him out.
Yep, I remember. It was like quick in and out.
The
Yeah.
that kid is really good. I bet on him as well. He was a slight underdog. But just watching a little bit of his fights, dude, he is very persistent with getting the takedown. He's lanky and he's always seeking the submission. So I think he's like overall he's 16 and 0.
Yeah, his record was ridiculous. I
He's
remember seeing
he's
that.
6 and 0 or 7 and 0 as a pro, but 10 and 0 as an amateur, just finishing guys like ridiculous. It's he's definitely a very promising guy they have in the bantamweight division. So
That's a big win for him because Archuleta was coming off a win over Bandeas, but it was a lot harder for him.
Yep.
Like
And
Bandeas was
Bandejas had
doing
a
good.
huge name behind him. Like
Yep.
a lot of people were like,
After
"Yo,
the
this guy's
Gallagher
like-"
knockout.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that bet on him too. But with Patrick Mix, when you have a guy with that type of grappling and that type of insistence in getting the fight to the ground, he's fucking sick. Dylan Danis, you want to say anything about this guy?
I mean, he was fighting a total... Like, the guy he was fighting, I think, was coming off of 2 submission losses. So you're like, I wonder how this fight's going to go here.
It's almost sad that it took him 4 minutes and 28 seconds to get
No,
this finish.
there was a good point made on commentary. I think Luke Thomas pointed it out, too. He was purposely not going for the submission that was right there to just, like, land some
Oh,
strikes.
okay.
Like, he could have easily just subbed him right away.
Yeah, like
Based on the position he was in, it was like, like to them, they would point out, they're like, yeah, it's pretty obvious he just didn't go for the submission on purpose. He just wanted to strike a bit.
He broke it down as well himself on Instagram. He showed a video where he's like, if you guys don't notice, I'm using my foot to push off on Humphrey's other bicep that's trying to hold his arm in place. So he puts his foot like right on his bicep and then just pushes it to break the hold, and then he gets the arm and just fucking like torques it. He's like, oh, people don't notice these little things. I'm like,
yeah, small little details.
Good for you, Dylan.
Yeah,
I've heard a lot of people say they should like continue feeding him guys like Max Humphrey until he continues to get his.
Come on, a little bit of a step up. I'm not saying a crazy step up, but Max Humphrey, come on.
His stand up has got to be dog shit. Let's be honest.
I swear
you can't.
I swear he got clipped in his last fight before this.
I don't recall.
I remember it was only like a minute, but I swear, like even in that minute, he was losing the stand up before he got the little heel hook. That was against a pretty low level guy.
He's got to like work on getting the fight to the ground as quickly as possible, or at least work on his stand up enough to play around there to lull his opponent to thinking, okay, he's going to strike with me for a bit. No, motherfucker, I'm going to take you down whenever I can.
He's still young though, so if he does it correctly, he can get better really fast.
It's interesting that the fight's at 175 pounds too. He's only fought at catchweights, which is weird.
175.
Yeah,
He's
his
big.
other one was a catchweight too.
He's big. Why the fuck did I think he was like lightweight or featherweight?
No.
Oh, interesting.
It's funny. He begged people to make a Wikipedia page for him, and he still has no Wikipedia page.
Oh wow!
All right. Their first main event, if you noticed that they announced it like that too.
Yeah,
our first main event,
the co-main event.
Lyoto Machida versus Chael Sonnen. Thoughts on that fight? Not so much on Chael's retirement because we'll touch on that afterwards. But like, just your thoughts on the fight.
Pretty much exactly what people expected. I think Chael just rushing in and. Like I didn't think he was going to be able to get a takedown on Machida. Machida's just too fast for him.
Yep.
And then as soon as Chael comes in, he's sloppy. It's easy to hit him. I thought it would literally be like it was the bull against the matador, and I thought Machida was a way better matador than Chael was a bull, and it was
a good way of putting it.
It was going to be like an obvious outcome. So, I mean, it's also like the fact that he got dropped with the flying knee, and then the same flying knee finishes him off. Like, come on, make somebody like Chael. He's okay. I'll talk more about this in the retirement.
Right.
I'll save that point for the retirement stuff. But yeah, just
I'm happy that Lyoto won this fight. Obviously,
yeah, I'd prefer him to win it. That's for sure.
I wouldn't mind seeing him against Ryan Bader again if they want to eventually do that down the line. I think they have Ryan Bader booked to fight Congo coming up soon.
I would think that they do Mousasi Machida first because Mousasi has also has talked a lot of shit.
Mousasi's at middleweight though.
Yeah, so is Machida.
No, he fought it. Well, I guess he can go down to middleweight if he wants.
He's like light heavyweight is him not cutting weight.
I guess.
So he could easily
Does he still want to try? I think he's what? He's like 41, right?
I think honestly, I think he was just offered the Sonnen fight.
He's
at
41,
light heavyweight.
yeah.
Who did he fight in his last fight?
Carvalho.
And that was a middleweight fight, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Carvalho's a middleweight.
Oh, I think you're right. Oh, it was a catchweight.
Oh, because Carvalho missed, but it was a middleweight fight. Yeah.
Okay, you're right.
It's probably just the Chael fight, like just because it was Chael, he didn't want to cut the weight, and Machida's probably like easy fight.
Yeah, and they fought before too, right?
And Mousasi, since that fight, has constantly talked shit about Machida and called him a druggie and steroid user.
Actually, I guess there's a little bit of a backstory there too, so that would be a fun fight.
Side note: Mousasi is awesome when he gets going on his rants because he has no fucks, no fucks. You want to know which fighter has the
him on Ariel's show is always the best. Like
doesn't give a shit. Yeah. There was another article I just read earlier today about him.
I just fight to get paid.
Yeah, he didn't even. He's like, I don't. This is a fucking job, and the better I get at fighting, the more money I make. Yeah. So like,
simple as that.
Yeah. Otherwise, that's all it is. It's just money for me. He just doesn't give a fuck. Just tells it like it is.
So yeah, I guess I wouldn't mind seeing Machida against Mousasi next, since Mousasi doesn't really have any other.
Well, hold on, he's got to get by Lovato Jr. We're kind of just assuming it, but let's be real. It shouldn't really hit the ground, and he should destroy the dude.
I made a small bet on Lovato Jr.
Oh really?
He's plus 369.
Oh, okay.
Fuck you. Okay. He's plus 369. You'd be stupid not to take that. Especially with how good he's looked.
He can just quickly do a back take and sub him.
What happened the last time Mousasi fought a guy this good at jiu-jitsu? Do you remember the last guy he fought this good at jiu-jitsu?
Jacare, who had way better stand-up than Lovato.
I agree.
And used that, and it was actually winning the stand-up to kind of pressure him and then get...
I agree, but if this fight does hit the ground, I'm just saying there's a chance.
I don't know, straight takedowns and just like when you have...
And I don't know
when
if
you're not a good striker and you're fighting Mousasi, you're in trouble.
Shit. Did you see the weigh-in pictures?
I think
Lovato Jr. is
massive.
Is fucking huge.
Mousasi has fought big dudes.
I'm going to show you a quick picture before we...
The striking differential is too much, so Mousasi should definitely win, but I I wouldn't be too surprised if he got subbed, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, actually, honestly, even if he does get subbed, that would be a little surprising. Musashi is really fucking good everywhere.
Fucking mute this shit. I don't even know where it is.
That,
Oh,
yeah,
there it is.
there you go.
There we go.
Hit it.
Okay.
All right, we're good.
I just want to see. I've only
Okay.
seen a picture, but like,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Oh, shit, he's significantly bigger.
Yeah. So like, you gotta assume that he's got to be. He might have some strength on him too. So maybe all he needs to do is just clinch him, drag him down.
I think the skill gap in overall MMA is too much.
Yeah.
He's just
I
got
could
the
see
jiu-jitsu.
that. But we've seen Musashi in a close fight too already in Bellator against Shevchenko. Or
I
Shlemenko,
kind
sorry.
of I'm okay with like writing that one off because he just ate one left hand that shut his whole eye down and then he just went into grapple mode. Like
Touche.
it wasn't really the
Yeah.
real Musashi. Like he was just all worried about the fucking eye.
I'm not trying to completely downplay how good Musashi is. Obviously, he's one of the best in the
He's
world.
amazing, yeah.
He's really good. I just think that this, the odds is just a little
Yeah.
bit out of whack, considering what Lovato
I
Jr.
even
can bring
agree
to the
with you.
table.
I think he'll win,
Yeah.
but plus 360
Yeah,
to
it's
get
a little
Lovato, that's
crazy.
a little ridiculous. Huh?
Yeah. All right. Lastly, before we move on to the next topic, we got Roy McDonald and Neiman Gracie who headlined this card. Two 48-47s and one 49-46. Let's start off with the scoring. How did you have it?
I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was in and out of this fight, so I didn't. It was like what 1 a.m.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all.
Like
Okay.
I would just randomly
All right.
like open my eyes and it's like, oh, there's 2 minutes left in the first, and oh, now Rory's just on top landing elbows, and I'm like, oh shit. So my whole perception throughout the whole fight was like, oh, I guess Rory easily won a unanimous decision here. But then when I saw the scores, I'm like, oh, this guy Neiman actually won 2 rounds. So now I honestly got to rewatch that fight.
Watch the fight.
100%.
In my opinion, the 48-47s probably came from the first round and the fifth round. The fifth round, Neiman Gracie had the most control because he actually got Roy down, got him in like really dominant position, but was not able to finish the fight.
Rory's always been good at
He's good. His
defending
jiu-jitsu is really good.
yeah.
I'll give him that. I thought I may have overrated Neiman Gracie's jiu-jitsu, which is amazing, but also maybe have forgotten a little bit about how good Rory McDonald's
When you look at it,
defense as well as too.
even the Damian Maia fight, the first round he got taken down, but Maia couldn't do anything other than float on top of him while Rory kept using butterfly guard. He kept like shucking
Just
him up.
keeping
But
him, yeah.
Maia has amazing control, so he stayed on top. But Maia couldn't do much of anything other
couldn't
than
advance,
just maintain
yeah.
top position. Then he gassed him out and couldn't take him down after. Like Rory's got really good defensive jiu-jitsu against these top-notch Brazilian jiu-jitsu guys. So
my dark horse is officially out of the welterweight
that's
tournament.
it. We're getting the
Which kinda
rematch.
sucks. We get the rematch.
I'm
Roy
excited for
McDonald
that,
versus Douglas Lima. Let's touch on that a little bit. What do you think? Who wins? Who should be favored? Who do you think favors? I think
Honestly,
Rory will be favored.
Rory should be the slight favorite. He did win the first fight. But it's going to be close. I really do think Lima is going to win because he seems really determined right now to get that win back. It's all about the grappling.
I'm writing off the Rory mental thing.
I think he's okay.
I think
now,
I think he's fine.
Yeah.
May have looked into that a little bit too much, but how could you not after the way he was acting after that John Fitz
Yeah,
fight?
that was a little strange.
Right?
But he seemed like calculated and just had a solid performance against Gracie. So he should be okay against Lima, but I still think Lima is
wins.
going to get the win. Stand up, it seems clear Lima's the better fighter. Rory's got the ground advantage. I just think this time Lima will probably correct his mistakes.
and just beat him up on the feet, like
Yeah,
Robbie
and
Lawler
he just
style.
seems more hungry too. There's like that little X factor where there's not much logic in it, but he just seems so determined to get that win back because he feels like he shouldn't have even lost it.
Yeah.
Like he feels so down on himself about it. I just
He
think
does
he's gonna
well
get-
in rematch as well too, because I believe
Yeah,
he beat
right.
Lima and not Lima. fucking
Koreshkov twice after
Koreshkov
that
twice,
first fight.
yeah.
Well, the
So-
first fight he said he did go in injured,
Yeah.
lost the decision, then he kind of destroyed him twice. So it's like, okay, well, we kind of believe you now.
I wouldn't be opposed to placing a small bet on Rory McDonald if his underdog odds get a little crazy, because I think it will open Rory as a slight favorite. Where I think that
I think money would come on Lima, yeah.
definitely people are going to bet on Lima. From everything that I've heard, people who bet Lima the first time around are probably going to bet Lima again.
I think so. I think so too. Yeah.
So yeah, that was a very entertaining Bellator 223 or 222, 223.
222.
222 that just went down. They got 223 coming up this weekend with Musashi and Lovato Jr., which we touched on a little bit, as well as Paul Daly against Eric Silva, which should be a fucking barn burner
Just
of
a
a fight.
fun fight.
And the
Oh,
return-
it's Eric. This is right. This is Eric,
Eric
Silva on
Silva.
the sauce. yo.
Eric. Oh yes.
Eric the Sauce Silva
Oh.
is back, yo.
Oh, I almost forgot. Fuck,
Yeah.
dude.
I better see like that ripped
I want to see the
six-pack and
chiselness.
just ripped again.
Oh, I
not
wish I
that
still had-
faded USADA
Wait,
bullshit.
Let me. I think I still have the weigh-ins right here. Let's see if
He better have
let's see what
retired that
kind of
USADA
fucking-
physique.
Is it still muted? All right, perfect. Let's see what fucking Eric Silva looks
Give
like now.
give him all the cocktails.
Give me some.
Let's get some
see.
drugs in that body.
Okay.
Oh,
Hold on,
wait.
hold on,
Oh,
hold on,
was
hold on.
that
Here
him?
we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Oh no, he looks like USADA Silva.
Kind of. Let's see them turn around. Show me some.
That
abs,
looks
baby.
like USADA Silva. Okay,
Show me
maybe
some
an in
abs.
between actually.
Let's see.
Yeah,
Flex for me,
that's-
baby. Okay,
no,
yeah, that's not. Yeah, that's not. That's not.
That's like
Silva.
slightly better than USADA
yeah.
Silva.
Yeah, yeah, but more so on the USADA side.
Yeah. Well, it looks like.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Well,
Poor guy.
I don't know about that now.
Yeah. So yeah, Paul Daly's a heavy favorite in that.
Oh,
fight.
I was just
Yeah.
about to say I would go with Paul Daly by TKO.
Yeah.
Probably second round TKO.
I made a small bet on the guy that James Gallagher is fighting as well because, James Gallagher should not be minus 400 and minus 450
In any
against
fight,
somebody-
when
in
you're
any
that
fight.
young in your career,
Yeah.
anybody can beat you.
And
yeah,
this
fuck that.
guy is really good too. This Hawaiian kid. So
Oh, Hawaiian.
uh-huh.
Tough as fuck.
Jeez, Tony, you're very adamant about that
Yo,
one.
Samoan or Hawaiian? As soon as you
Samoan,
say
Hawaiian,
that, like,
Mexican.
Oh shit.
A
Yeah.
Hawaiian Mexican would be the ultimate kid.
Man, those guys, like, even if they're shit at fighting,
I know.
they can
Punch
still
me.
win. Yeah,
Punch
go ahead,
me.
hit me.
I dare you.
Yeah, they're tough. They're so tough.
All right, let's fucking move on to the double jab. We're going to bring in my man Big Rob to help us out once again. What's going on, Big Rob?
Hey guys.
Yeah, let's just fucking get into it. I don't got much to kick this off with.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, guys. So for the first one here, we got. Sorry, yeah,
Oh, you
Sorry,
got this.
I had
He
this.
killed
I
it the
had
first
this.
time.
I had
He
this.
fucking killed it the
First
first
two
time.
times flawless.
The pressure's on now.
Yeah, when the
Okay, so-
camera's on.
Shevchenko came off another impressive performance at UFC 238. Is there any legit challenge left for her at 125 pounds, guys?
All right, so I'm going to kick this one off.
Okay.
So we touched on her a little bit before. She came off a super fucking amazing win over Jessica Ai. The one thing that I don't really see for her, unfortunately, in the UFC is viable challengers at 125 pounds. I mean, if you're fighting Valentina Shevchenko, you want to be able to beat her at least one point in her game. Like, she's beaten Juliana Pena. I know that was at 135 pounds, but a lot of people going into that fight thought that Pena was going to have the grappling advantage. She didn't. She fucking subbed her. Striking, she beat Holly Holm strike for strike, pretty much. And then in the Amanda Nunes fights, those are the only close ones. I know, unfortunately, we're never going to be able to see fucking Amanda Nunes go down to 125 and try to be the champ there. But let's see what else she has sitting over at 125. Kaylin Chukagian, Liz Carmouche, who she's scheduled to fight next, is not going to beat her. Joanne Calderwood, who just lost, and then we lost, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, which was the only fun fight for her at this division. So what do you got? What do you got, Tony?
Yeah, I don't see any competition for her. Caitlin Chukagian is ranked number 2.
That should say enough about the division as is. Eh?
That's the top contender apparently. Oh well, Liz like the Carmouche fight, it's something to keep things moving along for Shevchenko and to way to get her to avenge a loss on her record. Even
Which
though
is so it's kind of being progressive.
that's why it's fine. Like I don't mind when they book matchups like this just for kind of like a fighter to get his revenge, or
especially when there's
get their
nothing
revenge.
else there.
Exactly. So I don't mind the booking of that, but yeah, at flyweight it's too thin. The skill gap is just way too much. Like especially the striking, it's not even fair. Like it's literally at that level. So at 125 nothing.
You have to look a little bit further. You have to look a little bit further down for people that are eventually, after 2 or 3 wins, might be viable contenders. Macy Barber, Montero De La Rosa, and Andrea Lee. Those are 3 names that you should
fair
eventually
enough.
look out for. But continue, sorry.
I think she should go up to bantamweight though and fight Nunes again.
Yeah.
Just because I think a lot of people do agree that she won that second fight, so it probably should be 1-1, and there's not really much left for Nunes or her, but. At the same time, she probably won't get that fight because I think Nunes wants to just beat Holly Holm and then retire.
That's what I've been hearing
So-
too. All right, what's next, Rob?
All right, guys. So next one, we got Cowboy and Ferguson lived up to the hype until the anticlimactic end. So where do these guys go from here? And is a rematch warranted?
Okay, so starting up, no rematch, no. That fight definitely felt like Like, I had it 1-1 after the second, but it felt like it was clear. Ferguson was getting in his groove. He was busting up Cowboy. Cowboy had the broken nose. So I thought it was still a legit win, even though there was the shot after the bell. I thought people were making too big of a deal of it. It was a good shot, but I don't think it rocked Cerrone, hurt him that badly. It didn't lead to the finish. The finish was Cerrone fucking up.
Yeah.
Like, he knew not to blow his nose, but he did it anyway. And then his eyes shut, and they had to stop the fight. That's on Cerrone. So for me, Ferguson, I don't care if it's marred by a little bit of controversy. The guy has a fucking 12, 13 fight win streak dating back to when there was no women's division in the UFC or whatever. All those facts that he lifted, like 2012, when he lost to Michael Johnson. Give the guy a title shot. He shouldn't have even had to fight this fight at all. Yeah. He got through it. He got the win. Give him a goddamn title shot. That's it. Enough said for Tony Ferguson. Cerrone, I think he should just take a few months off and then, get another fun fight in there to maintain his high ranking.
I absolutely agree that we should not have a rematch for this. There's no need for that. We knew what was going to happen if that fight even made it to the third round. The momentum was obviously swinging in Tony Ferguson's favor. And we know that Tony Ferguson, when he starts getting up ahead of these guys, going deeper into fights, there's no way he's going to start regressing. I can't remember the RDA fight completely, but if from what I recall, it was a later fights or later rounds that he was strong.
No, so just a quick thing on that. So the first round, Ferguson seemed a little reckless and getting into RDA's face, got countered a lot, lost the round. Second round, he kind of fought more smarter and did his thing, won the round. Third round, he fought exactly like the first round, lost that round. Fourth and fifth fought exactly like the second round and cruised to an easy win.
See, this is why I need Tony around. This guy fucking remembers everything that happened in
every
every single round.
Things.
It's fucking
certain fights only. Yeah,
the things I don't remember what the fuck I ate this morning, and this guy can tell me. What Tony Ferguson probably threw in the second minute of the second round.
Here's the thing: I remember the things that I care to remember really well. The things I remember well. Let's just say it that way.
Yeah, I don't think they need a rematch. Give Tony Ferguson the winner of Dustin Poirier and Khabib Nurmagomedov. Let Donald Cerrone fight Justin Gaethje. I wouldn't mind that fucking fight.
Oh, shit.
Right? Why not? All right, let's fucking just move on. That's what I gotta say.
Gaethje wants a big fight. Yeah. That's fighting up, too. It's either Conor or Cerrone. So, anyways.
I agree. All right, Rob, what's next?
Okay, so the third one here, we got Brendan Loughnane. Put on a gutsy performance at the Contender Series, but was overlooked due to a takedown in the last 10 seconds. Would you give him a contract after that performance?
So this is a very highly debated topic over the last week. It's hard to look at this right on in terms of like bang on because first of all you got to think about this through Dana White's eyes because it is the Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series. And secondly, like, if you want to base it on performances, I wish I could have showed you the Soriano fight because you haven't seen that one. And he's the other guy that, or Serrano or Soriano, whatever the fuck his name is. He's the other guy that I got given a contract. So he got a contract as well as the guy that won by leg kicks, the heavy favorite or heavy underdog. So the guy went for broke pretty much in the first round. Serrano went for broke in the first round. And then the second two rounds, he started to gas because he's never been out of the first round. But he out-grappled the guy. And Glitch is back, by the way. He out-grappled the guy. So everybody's pissed as to why that Loughnane was overlooked for going for a takedown in the last 10 seconds, whereas Serrano, going for takedowns in the second and third round to, preserve his energy as much as possible, was given a contract. That's where the controversy lays, and I completely understand that aspect of it. But again, you got to look at this through Dana White's eyes. He's looking for, like he said, killers. He's looking for people that are going to entertain people. He's not necessarily looking for a star. He is looking for a flash in the pan. I called it the flash in the pan series, not the contender series, because most of these guys probably won't be contenders. Outside of maybe Sodiq Yusuff, who's a fucking great talent. Sean O'Malley has a great following now too. But some of these guys from the contender series, they're probably not going to be able to get, a contender status. I think they're more so a flash in the pan. What about you? What did you think about this?
Okay, so based off the performance, I probably wouldn't have given him a contract.
Me neither.
But not because of the takedown in the last 10 seconds. I think it's ridiculous that was the reason he didn't get one. I just think in terms of an overall performance, you're 17-3. You're fighting like a lower level guy. It was a tough back and forth type fight. I just don't think you're UFC ready. Maybe you should get another fight and get a more impressive win before you can get in. So I don't mind him not getting a contract, but just not for that reason for the takedown.
Considering he was a minus 350-ish favorite going into that
Exactly.
you feel like he should have had a stronger performance because like we just watched it literally right before recording this podcast, and he was getting touched up.
Like, yeah, 100%. He was still getting hit, even though the other guy seemed a little sloppy with his defense and he was throwing awkward shots. But yeah, he was definitely getting hit. I don't think it was enough to get a contract. No.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, it's clearly biased for like entertaining fights
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, Dana White's a promoter and he's thinking it from a business perspective. What's going to attract the most fans?
Yeah.
So yeah, naturally, that's just a tough reality of it, which is kind of stupid because just make it kickboxing then.
Yeah, that's
Like
true.
what the fuck? It's MMA. Like
A
half of
takedown
it
should
is
be
like
seen as significant as like landing a crazy wild strike.
it's like half of MMA. Like you can contest the fight standing or on the ground. Like that's a whole different element, and
Yeah.
it's important to MMA.
All right, what's next, Rob?
All right, guys. So Chael called it quits for a second time after his loss to Machida. Do you think this retirement sticks? And what are your thoughts on his career?
Okay, so yes, the retirement sticks. He's too old to come back now. He doesn't seem to be getting better. His plan is always just a bull rush, poor striking defense, and just hope for the takedown. And even then, against top grapplers, he gets out grappled to the point where he has absolutely nothing left in his repertoire to do until he just gets TKO'd on the ground by covering up. So
Once he gives up, you know he's given up.
yeah, so that was the point I was going to make earlier was how like he just doesn't get better and it's always the same fight where he almost just seems desperate.
Yeah.
Like he just does a lot of desperation moves and you're like it's like the spinning back fist against Anderson Silva. Like as soon as it's not going his way and he can't do anything offensively with grappling, he just kind of goes a little nuts and gets weird and desperate and it's just not good. Like and he never got better from that. And he's too old at this point, so I'm happy with the retirement, but at the same time, what he did was super impressive. Like I still remember watching that first Anderson Silva fight and just wondering what the fuck I was watching until he lost by the submission. So I remember being a fan of his at that time, but then it kind of got old after a while when he just kept doing that, and then like his performances were like, what the fuck? You
They
just
weren't
keep getting
adding
your
up.
ass kicked now,
Yeah.
right? And you're like, you keep talking shit, but you just do the same thing over and over and over. So. Yeah, I think his retirement came too late. I don't even think he should
I
have
think
fought
it was.
Bellator.
I think it was perfectly timed. You know what I mean? He had that 4-year gap roughly, or 3.5-year gap after he fought Rashad Evans in the UFC to when he made his Bellator debut against Tito Ortiz. Post-retirement, post-initial retirement, he went 2-3. He beat Vanderlei and Quentin Jackson, and then he lost to Tito, Fedor, and Lyoto. I was kind of a fan of the guy, like initially when I feel like it was getting a little bit overdone when he just kept doing that bad guy persona. A part of me started to get a little bit sick of it. But then he does things like the whole Kevin Iole thing, like where Kevin Iole like the worst drug cheat in MMA history retires or some shit like that, right? And then Chael's like, hey Kevin. I'm not the worst drug cheat of all time. I'm the best drug cheat of all time. I'm like, you fuck. Like, how does he always turn bad shit into good shit?
He's definitely got some entertaining
What did
lines.
I pop? What did I pop for? Everything? Yeah, because I was on everything. Like, I love how he runs into it. He doesn't run away from it. He runs right the fuck into it. And that's why I think even when he made his podcast, it was a great fucking
That's
idea.
a solid point when he pokes fun at himself for being on all the drugs and stuff. I like that. Other people get like so sensitive around the topic, but he
goes,
just
fuck it. I'll own up to it.
I do love that.
That's why Chael will always hold like a place in my heart because he has that like type of persona and that like just that machismo in a sense. Like, yeah, I did something. Fuck you guys.
Yeah,
Whatever.
fair enough.
All right, what's the last one, Chris? Oh, Chris, wow. Fucking Rob. I'm looking at the next name that we're supposed to be talking
okay,
about.
Oh, I was like, where'd you get Chris?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
All right, let's go.
Okay. So the next one we got here is Weidman announced he's moving up to light heavyweight. Do you think he'll be successful in his run at 205 pounds?
So Weidman, I think this is the right move for him. First of all, he is, he's not the smallest middleweight. He will be on the smaller side of light heavyweight, but I think his attributes in wrestling will definitely help him in that. So he probably won't get overpowered too much by some of these guys. Another plus is that he could probably get that Luke Rockhold fight back too, because obviously Rockhold's gone up there and he's fighting Blachowicz in the next couple of weeks. I love this for Chris. Like, I think this is just a whole new leaf for him. And we all know how fucking wide open the light heavyweight division is. Like, it's just, 2 wins for Chris Weidman would probably find him in a title shot. Like, it would be great to, if Rockhold wins, he gets that Smith fight. And then if Weidman, we don't even have a first fight set up for Weidman. So I'm not sure what to totally expect in his debut at light heavyweight. But I think in terms of just attributes alone, I think that he's going to be really good in terms of transferring and going up in weight. A lot of people have had success going up in weight, and I think it's going to be the same for Chris. Does he become champion? Probably not. But
Yeah, I think it's the right move for him. He just has too many losses to too many of the top guys at middleweight. He's been stopped in all of them. He talked about early in his career going up to 205. I still think he will probably be undersized. So it's kind of up in the air for me how well he does. I don't think he'll break into like top 5, but maybe he'll be like a 6 to 10 type of guy.
But you got to think that there's not a lot of strong grapplers up there at 205. Like just even
Yeah, but
looking
you
at
know
the
what
top.
it is too? I find his skills like a little overrated
Interesting.
in terms of like I don't know if his grappling is strong enough at light heavyweight to actually do much against some of these guys. Light heavyweight's getting better now.
Yeah.
Like some of these middleweights going up, you're like, oh shit, these guys shouldn't have been cutting weight. Like Anthony Smith for sure. It's like, oh, you're benefiting huge from not cutting weight.
But this
Like,
could be
it's
the same.
ridiculous.
He could have the same effect as Santos and Smith.
You know why I don't think that's true? Because in one of his fights, like I don't know if it was the last one or the one before that, he was walking around light. Like he managed to just get his regular weight low, and it wasn't a hard weight cut or anything. Like I think before he was
This
just
will
doing
probably
it
give him
stupid.
some reason
To blow it up again,
pack
or
up,
maybe
yeah.
I don't. It's either like here's the thing. It's a good move for him because he does need some sort of reboot. I'm just questioning how successful he'll be still. Like I don't know if his best days are behind him. They probably are, in my opinion.
Last question on this before we move on. Do you think he will see at least a title shot?
No.
Okay.
Nah,
I think he will.
I don't know if it. No.
I think he'll see at least a title shot.
No, I think like an Anthony Smith would beat him.
Yeah.
I think a Thiago Santos would probably even beat him.
I would beg to differ against Anthony Smith fight. I think he beats Anthony Smith.
Really? I don't think
Yeah.
so at all.
We got to see what his first fight is like
exactly.
when he comes in. So
He should get some 6 to 10 guy coming off a loss. I mean, Weidman's 1-4. He just needs a solid win.
yeah, again, light heavyweight is open. So if he can string together at least 2 wins, he should find himself in the top 5. Let's move on to the last segment of the podcast. We're gonna go over the next 2 UFC main events aren't like the biggest in terms of dedicating an entire segment to them, but they are notable enough that we should at least touch on them. So I just want to give a big shout out to Big Rob as well, helping us as always. You may have slipped up on Shevchenko this time,
I'm sorry.
but you'll be fucking back. You'll be back.
Thanks, guys.
And he'll be better.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. Getting better every time.
Yeah, you are. That is
right.
true.
Let's touch on the first main event. So Renato Moicano against Korean Zombie. This actually goes down tomorrow, so I'm going to try to get this out ASAP. So this is actually relevant. So I don't want to spend too much time on it because I think most people will listen to this after the event. So just quick thoughts on Renato Moicano and Chan Sung Jung. Do you think that where does this put these guys? Where does this put these guys if they get a victory here?
I think it's definitely a bigger fight for Chan Sung Jung. I feel like he's almost getting rewarded a bit.
Yep.
By getting someone so high ranked because he was literally 1 second away from winning the Yair fight pretty convincingly. Until he just got knocked out with that elbow. But I think it's a fine booking for Moicano because it gets a name on them, even though it's not like a crazy ranking for Chan Sung Jung. It's still a good name on the resume, especially coming off the Aldo loss. But I definitely think it's a huge fight for Chan Sung Jung.
Well,
it
Chan
could
Sung
vault
Jung
him.
is 12 and Renato is
5. Yeah. So this could vault him right back into the top 5 and erase that loss totally. So I definitely think Chan Sung Jung, this is a way bigger fight for him, and he got a good roll of the dice here in getting this matchup.
Do you think he gets the victory? Stylistically,
Man, logically, you would have to go with no because Moicano is more of a technician. Keep him on the
he'll
end of
have
the
more of
punch.
an
He's big.
output than Yair had, in my opinion, as well too. So
And then Chan Sung Jung pretty much has to do. But here's the thing: Moicano can get pressured if that's what Aldo showed. So if Chan Sung Jung really gets in his face, and I know he won't pressure with bombs like Aldo.
Yeah.
But if he gets in his face constantly and keeps at him, he might be able to wear him down enough to where Moicano's movement slows, and then he can start to tag him a bit more. And it's a 5-round fight, you got to understand, too.
We saw Moicano go down in that third against fucking
Ortega when he went for an
Ortega,
ill-advised takedown, yeah, but maybe if Chan Sung Young really pressures, he might lose the first, maybe the second rounds, and then start to turn it around, kind of like a Cejudo Moraes style, where he just gets in his face. So I don't know. I could see that happening.
I have a pretty hefty bet on Renato Moicano because I just don't see how he loses this fight.
Stylistically, I agree
Stylistically,
with you, yeah.
I don't see how he loses this fight, especially if you look at that Yair Rodriguez fight. Like the only thing I see that Chan Sung Young has over Renato is probably cardio. Like that's the only thing I really see him. I think that Renato Moicano could put Chan Sung Young out. Korean Zombie or not. I think that Moicano has the accuracy and the technical ability to be able to land those precise shots.
I think so. Yeah, like stylistically, he probably should win.
And his ground game is decent too. So it's not like,
for me, it's more of like a cardio or a mental issue if he wilts under that. So.
I think he will finish Chan Sung Young under 4 rounds.
Okay.
I think it'll be a finish for sure. I think he should. He'll definitely vault himself right back into the top 5 discussion as well, especially after coming off that Jose Aldo loss. I don't know who you can match him up after with. You guys, Zabit Magomed Sharipov probably fighting Brian Ortega in the summer.
Don't want to do the rematch with Aldo. Edgar's fighting Holloway.
Yep.
Volkanovski's going to wait.
We already had the Stevens fight before, so we don't need to see that again. Maybe Josh Emmett. He's fighting Mirsad Bektic coming out.
The only logical one would be Volkanovski, but he's obviously just going to wait for Edgar Holloway to happen and then get the winner. Yeah, that's interesting. He doesn't really have many options.
I wish there was. I feel like this isn't like a solid main event. Like I think it's just like it's okay. We'll take it. Like it's not fucking Artem Lobov or Cub Swanson. It'll be funner than that.
It'll be fun.
It's more significant than that, obviously. But I just I don't know. It's hard for me to like. I'm more excited to see Brian Barberena fight. To be honest, I want to see if he can go in there and just like steam on Randy Brown, which I think he should be able to do
easily.
This was the John Lineker show until fucking John Lineker unfortunately had to pull out this morning. I'm really high on Montana De La Rosa. She's an underdog coming into this fight against Andrea Lee, and I think she's going to shock a lot of people. So I'm excited about that fight. Kevin Holland, you remember Kevin Holland?
Yep,
what
definitely
a fucking
do.
G. I hope he comes out and has a strong performance here. Kevin Aguilar, a monster on the feet. He has a tough test against Dan Ige. I think he's going to win that
Dan
fight.
Ige's got some crazy grappling.
Ashley Yoder, I think she should have some success against Sierra Kondo. Return of Matt Wyman.
I was about to say, Matt Wyman's still fighting?
Motherfucking Wyman. He hasn't fought since 2013. His last fight,
he hasn't
Isaac
fought.
Valifag.
He hasn't fought since 2013. Why is he
sure
coming
it's
out of retirement for this?
2014, sorry. As Isaac Valiflag.
Why is he doing
But he
this?
never formally retired either. He's just been out. Look, he was scheduled to fight in 2015 against Leonardo Santos. That didn't happen. Yeah. So he's coming back to fight against Luis Pena, which is a very tough test to come back to.
Yep, probably gonna lose. Let's be real.
Jairzinho Rosenstruik. I'm slightly high on this guy at heavyweight because he's coming over from Glory, so he's like a very good kickboxer. And we know what Alan Crowder is best known for. That Greg Hardy fight.
Yep.
Ariane Lipski, I've been looking forward to her return. She had a very flat debut against Joanne Calderwood back in January, but she's the violence queen. That's what they keep calling her. So hopefully she's allowed to, bring the violence with her this time to the cage. Spicy's back fighting Darren
This
Wynn.
motherfucker. It's still so insane.
Have you seen this? Do you know who Darren Wynn is? Do you know much about this
Yeah,
guy?
he's from AKA, the wrestler.
Yeah. Do you know? Do you know why he's like? Why people are like, I don't know if this guy's gonna be. He's 5'5", fighting at fucking 185.
Oh, is he that? I remember him. He fought Tom Lawler. I remember he was so tiny, but his wrestling is so good that I think he's been able to get away with it. Maybe at the high level, maybe not. But dude, Spicely,
Eric Spicely's by sub is plus 450 right now.
Interesting.
And I think that is Spicely's best path to victory.
100%. That's all he does.
He's 6'1", going up against a guy that's 5'5".
And he's a grappler.
Strong grappler. So
I don't mind that bet at all.
All right, let's fucking move on to the next UFC event, which was Francis Ngannou versus Junior Dos Santos. I think this is a very important fight at heavyweight. You could definitely see a clear number one contender, after Cormier defends against Stipe. So I don't know if, Cormier's talking about retiring after, him fighting Stipe. But let's go into this thinking that Daniel Cormier is going to have another fight. Do you think that JDS and Francis Ngannou deserve a title shot after a victory?
I personally think after this fight for Daniel, it's either retirement or Jones, and then retirement. So I don't think any of these guys will ever fight Daniel Cormier for a belt.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll
there's no
ever
need for
happen.
it. There's no need for him to fight.
No, I think the winner of this either be. I mean, they're not announcing it for a title right now, so they wouldn't do it post, after the fight. So I think the winner of this just fights for the interim or the vacated
maybe fight
heavyweight
Stipe,
belt. Yeah,
you
for
know.
like the vacated belt or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I'm scared for Junior. I'm always scared for Junior because I love Junior.
He's a pretty not sizable, but like a solid underdog right now, eh?
Yeah, because he gets hit too much, and Ngannou will kill you if he hits you, and that's a big
Touché,
problem.
touché.
Yeah, and and Junior's big and lovable, and nobody wants to see him get hurt, and he's
Yeah.
probably gonna get hurt here. Like he's definitely the better striker. He's got the better boxing, the better movement. He's overall the better MMA fighter. But in a 5-round fight, Ngannou just needs one, and Junior gets
But
hit.
also
and
in
he
a
can-
5-round fight, JDS has the clear advantage in terms of like I think after 2 solid rounds, I don't think JDS has to really worry much about.
I agree with you. If this fight goes past even the halfway point of the second round,
Yeah.
JDS's odds are
I
going to
wouldn't
keep going
even
up.
I wouldn't even be surprised to see Junior Dos Santos come with a wrestling heavy game plan.
I don't
Why
see
not?
that at all.
Why not?
Because he's never done it. Even when he should, he's probably
But-
never done it.
He's never fought Francis Ngannou, right? Like,
I think he'll be confident enough in his boxing and just rely on it.
okay.
And honestly, skill-wise, Junior Dos Santos should easily win this. But
Yeah.
the problem is that a
Just the power.
5-round fight, just one punch, and
Yeah.
he'll go out. And
I'd
he's
say
been put out.
again, out of a 5-round fight, I think Francis only really has a solid 12 minutes to work with to
That's
land
fair.
a heavy enough shot. That's where I think that Junior Dos Santos, technique, his footwork, and everything is going to come to light and show.
I
the
can even
significant
see
difference.
Junior finishing Francis in the later rounds. If Francis does not put him out and starts to get worn down and tired,
Yeah,
I could see a big TKO win for JDS, which would be huge for him.
I would definitely think that this fight is going to end inside the distance.
Yeah,
like I
that's
don't
for
see
sure.
how. Again,
I could see
think,
JDS winning a decision. I could see that 100%.
I could. I feel like we would see a JDS pour it on a little bit more than Stipe was in the later rounds against Francis Ngannou. And Francis Ngannou was like, he was tired, man. Like I trust JDS's cardio and knowing that he'll be able to find the openings to finish Francis late if it gets to like the 4th or 5th round.
Yep.
It would honestly be shocking to me if JDS won a decision. I'm not convinced on Francis Ngannou, especially his gas tank, until we see him again in the 4th or 5th round and actually hold his own and
Fair enough,
not look
fair
like
enough.
he's about to fucking cough up a lung or something. I love the significance behind this fight. If you also remember, this fight was supposed to be a part of UFC 239, which goes down I believe the week after this fight. So it went from crucial fight on a pay-per-view to a headliner in a fight that we probably won't even need 5 rounds for. So I don't know. Would you have been happy if they took another fight from this card and made it the main event since Lawler and Woodley fell out?
No, I think name-wise, you got to give it to this
You
fight.
got to give it to them.
I mean, the only other one really is the co-main there.
I like the co-main. Like that was
Yeah, but that's more for the hardcores. In terms of
Touché.
like marketing a card, you got to put the heavyweights at the top.
So final thoughts on that fight, JDS and Ngannou. You got
I think Ngannou's going to put him out, but
For sure.
I really wouldn't be surprised if JDS just uses footwork and crisp boxing and wins the fight too.
so that could possibly set up Stipe versus Francis too.
Yeah.
I don't know who else there really is at heavyweight. Once Cormier leaves, we got it right here. So we got Stipe at 1, Francis at 2, JDS at 3. So that matchup makes absolutely perfect sense. Curtis Blades is going in to fight Shamil Abdurakhimov, he was number 10. So Curtis Blades is probably hoping for a JDS win, because how many people really want to go see him fight Francis Ngannou for a 3rd time after being completely decimated at least the 2nd time for sure. Derek Lewis probably never will see a title shot again.
Yeah.
Alexander Volkov, I think he has Overeem coming up, or did they already have that fight?
No, they're going to
I
have
believe
that
that fight's coming up. So, the heavyweight division is kind of shaking. It's kind of. I am excited for this fight. Let me just say that. Like JDS and Ngannou,
Yeah,
they've had their
100%.
tough
It's gonna
times,
be a fun
but I
fight.
am very excited for this fight. So there is still some life at heavyweight. Talking about life at a division, the only life really left at 125 is fucking Juicy Formiga and Joseph
Yeah,
Benavidez.
they're the clear top 2 contenders.
Right.
It's very clear cut. Benavidez has the win over Cejudo.
So that's enough reasoning for him to get a title shot off of this win alone.
Yeah, easily. Yeah, that's
And
for
then,
sure.
if you guys mostly remember, there was they actually fought before Jose Formiga and
Benavidez
Joseph
TKO'd him.
Benavidez TKO'd him. So it's obvious that number 1 and number 2 should fight each other, which is great, which is what they have lined up. But outside of that, it's really tough to see where this division is going to get rolling.
They don't even have a top 15. It comes off at 12.
Oh, damn, that
They
sucks.
have a top 12. That's everyone in their division.
Match Snell, number 12. Rowland Pava, number 11. Alex Perez, number 10.
Who the fuck is Rowland Pava?
He made his UFC debut recently, and I think he beat a name, if I'm not mistaken. But he has a decent... I think he beat Jordan Espinosa. I don't know.
Ryan Benoit.
Why is Jordan
7.
Espinosa number 8? Kai Kara France has been doing decent. Ryan Benoit,
Yeah,
Rogerio
number 7.
Bonturin.
Well, I
That's the
don't
guy
know who the fuck that is
That's the
either.
guy that beat the fucking Russian guy. Who's the Russian guy that was at 125?
Ali Bagotino.
Nah. There was another Russian guy that was like, why is it fucking slipping my head?
Ostelich or Obstelich or some shit.
Can we see his last fight on here? I need to know this. Magomed, something Magomed.
At
It's got to be
flyweight?
something Magomed. Bibulatov.
Okay.
Yeah, fucking Bibulatov. But Bibulatov was like minus 400, minus 500 going into that fight, and then lost that fight. And then Tim Elliott is still hanging around there. I almost
number
completely
500.
forgot about that fucking guy.
After 1 and 2, it's such a drop off, man. Pantoja's looking good and he's young, but he's just in the wrong. Like, he's not going to be able to do anything in this division.
What the fuck is Damian Maia still doing around?
Yeah, why not? He can-
Do you think
He's
this is
still
a
a
fight?
tough puzzle.
Do you think this is a fight that's winnable for him against Anthony Rocco Martin?
It's definitely winnable, but it's a bad matchup because Rocco Martin has solid jiu-jitsu, probably enough to stifle and stop submissions, and then his stand-up
Better
is
striker.
so much better, and he's way
He
younger.
just beat
And he's getting better and coming into his own and entering his prime. Maya's on the way out, so this is definitely a tough matchup for Maya.
just beat a very tough jiu-jitsu guy in Sergio Moraes as well, where he beat his fucking front leg up. The calf kicks were fucking slowing down Sergio
Yep.
Moraes. It's going to be interesting to see if he can implement that same game plan against Damian Maia, who I think goes for the takedowns a little bit harder
He
than
just
Sergio
rushes,
Moraes.
yeah.
So, Anthony Martin's going to really have to bring his kicks back if he wants to be successful with that type of game plan. Roosevelt Roberts is a big fucking name coming up. I'm not sure if you know too much about him,
Nope.
but he's very talented, 8-0 going up against Vince Pichel. So it's kind of good for Roberts to be taking this kind of slow climb up. And Pichel's, not the worst out there. He's a decent fighter, so this should be a
decent.
good test for him. Drew Dober against Polo Reyes.
That's a fun fight. Stand-up guys.
Alonzo Menafield against Paul Craig. I'm really looking
I
forward
don't
to
know
that
how
fight.
Paul Craig is still in
I
the
know,
UFC,
but he still beat
sure.
fucking dude. He's winning.
Somehow
He beat he beat Kennedy and Zetsuku in his last fight.
Yep, he got the submission again,
Yeah.
the triangle.
And his setup for that was beautiful too.
That
'cause
was dope.
He kind of ratted him into thinking that he was going for a sweep and then quickly turned it to a fucking triangle.
That was dope.
That was so beautiful. I was really looking forward to a Ricardo Ramos against Sergio Pettis, but Sergio had to pull out, so that fucking sucks.
Oh, okay, that's who the replacement
Yeah,
is.
so they have
Alright,
some
cool.
next Journey Newson guy, Vinicius Mojea
Oh,
against
poor
Eric Anders.
He's healed up from that?
He should be good, but Vinicius Mojea, really good jiu-jitsu, but really shit-ish striking. So
Okay.
Eric Anders should be able to have fun on the feet, and as long as he can stay on the feet, he should win this fight. Stay on the feet and throw something. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, thank God they gave
Yeah.
him like a not too great striker after
Yeah,
that. Like he
yeah.
deserves that,
Poor guy. I feel like that was a quick turnaround too.
right?
Wasn't
After
that
such
at
a
the-
beating.
Was it that? I think that was the Jones and Smith card, which was back in
Yeah,
March.
what the fuck? You got dropped
Yeah.
4 times and your legs got
Yep.
fucked up. Maybe take a little time off.
Jordan Griffin fighting a short notice guy as well. Jared Gordon, return of him. I really like his style, very forward pressure against Dan Morit. Justin Ledet against some EFC heavyweight champion. So it's going to be interesting to see how, if we can add another guy to the very dinosaurish heavyweight division.
Oh, Maurice Green is back.
Yep, Maurice Green. I fucking hate that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting Junior Albini. So there's some interesting heavyweight fights on this. Maurice Green, Albini, Ledet, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce that guy's name. And then, we got the heavyweight main event as well with Francis Ngannou and Junior Dos Santos.
I like the top 3 fights for sure. I like
Oh
the
yeah,
fight.
they have I feel like the top 2 especially have the most meaning as well, right?
Important fights.
Damian
yeah.
Maia is kind of just weeding out the welterweights that need to be weeded out. He's like
He's a gatekeeper.
Yeah, he's a top 10 gatekeeper.
Yeah.
Just trying to make sure only the good guys are able to pass by him. And this, I believe, this is his first fight where he's not fighting a guy in his last couple fights that's not like a wrestle heavy, really
Lyman
good
Good.
jiu-jitsu, right?
Lyman
oh yeah,
Good.
yeah, okay, yeah, he beat Lyman Good. But yeah, before that, look at that run, man. Tyron
The top
Woodley,
3 wrestlers in the
Colby
division.
Covington, and Kamaru Usman. I think what's his face got wrecked by the same 3 RDA. No, he didn't fight Woodley, but Colby Covington and Kamaru Usman back to
Yep.
back. And then I think he had
Decisions.
Tony Ferguson before that as well too.
Yep.
So, big shout out to Damian Maia and RDA for taking these super tough fights. I don't think anybody wants to fight Kamaru Usman right now or Colby Covington. Speaking of which, those two should be fighting each other relatively soon,
Yeah,
right? I think one of them is
Usman's
recovering
trying
from
to
an
get
injury.
healed up. Yeah.
Okay. Because they need to get that welterweight division fucking moving.
100%. Yeah.
Jeez.
I still think Usman's gonna kill him, but
I agree.
we'll see.
Speaking of moving along, let's get to our last fucking segment, or our last little thingamajigger.
yeah.
Most anticipated fight of the bye week. I'll kick it up. Do you already have yours off the top?
Yeah,
of your head? All right, go for
I
it.
got mine.
me.
So I would actually go with Formiga Benavidez for me.
Damn.
Just because
Okay.
I know they're the flyweights, but I've always been a huge fan of Benavidez. Even like before he came into the UFC, I remember watching him in the WEC. It's a good rematch. It's the top 2 guys in the division, and just the implications coming out of it because Benavidez has a good chance to win. If he does win, he's the last guy to beat Cejudo, so he might throw a wrench into the plans of the bantamweight division, right? So it really like if he gets a solid win, maybe we do get an interim title fight because Henry Cejudo's first fight back is a title defense against Benavidez. It's also a fight that
True.
might allure Henry Cejudo because of the fact he's got that loss against him. Even though a lot of people felt like Cejudo probably should have won that fight, it's still a loss on the record that he probably want to avenge.
This is like a yeah. You're
He's
right.
he's already avenged the DJ
Yeah.
loss. This is the only other kind of blemish on his record. So yeah, I'm personally, and just Formiga's also evolved so much since that first fight.
Yes.
And Benavidez probably regressed if anything since then. So it's just a very compelling matchup
I think-
to see where they both are and just future implications for like if Formiga wins, then it's like guaranteed Cejudo's next fight is at bantamweight. I feel like because he's already beaten Formiga. He wants the money fights. He wants to get paid. That's not a money fight. There's nothing in it for him. Why give him the rematch?
I think Formiga's definitely gotten better since that fight too.
Yeah, but it's just the money aspect and the big
Yeah, I
fight
guess.
aspect and the fact he's already beat
Probably
him.
fight Sterling.
Benavidez, the only thing he has going for him, he's not a big fight either, but he's got that win. So to kind of erase
He is the
that
biggest
blemish.
fight for him at 125.
Yeah, but I think just any
And
fight
that's
at
not even that big.
125
It's not that
is
big.
just not going to be big. But he's got that win, so I think Cejudo will definitely want to get that one back at the very least, if anything. If there's anything to compel him to get it to come back to flyweight and defend the belt, it's going to have to be to avenge a Benavidez loss. Otherwise, he's literally got nothing and no reason to ever go back to that division.
There's definitely a lot of significance behind that fight, so I can understand why
Yeah.
you're so anticipated for it. I was going to pick that one as well. That was up there until I got reminded of a fight between Montana De La Rosa and Andrea Lee. So I have a little bit of money on Montana De La Rosa, but with that aside, I think that if Montana, I'm really high on this girl. Like
Yeah.
she has really good jiu-jitsu. Her grappling is good. She has the wrestling pedigree as well to back it up. I'm not saying she's Tatiana Suarez level, but I believe that she'll probably have maybe the second or third best grappling in that division.
Okay,
Okay,
interesting.
maybe not second because we got Valentina up there too. So maybe between top 3 and top 5. I think she could definitely be a contender in this division. And I think that the Andrea Lee fight is a perfect barometer for us in terms of if she is ready for that. Like, her only real losses, if you notice on her record, her only real losses have been. Let me just pull this up. She was on the Ultimate Fighter, but she had a couple losses that were actual legitimate names.
I remember watching this girl.
So Nika Montano on the show, Cynthia Calvillo, who's a great grappler, Mackenzie Dern. We don't have to say much about that. She's one of the best grapplers. And then first 2 fights she lost. So I'll toss those up to just inexperience and just maybe pro. Does she even have an amateur record? She has no amateur record. So she probably came straight from. Oh, she has one. It was canceled. So she had a scheduled amateur fight and then just went straight to pro. So she picked up 2 losses there, but she's really good with her jiu-jitsu. Her her striking held up for her against Rachel Ostovich, and then she eventually choked her out in the 3rd round. The Nadia Kasim fight, she didn't even make. She didn't even try to bluff there. She just fucking said right away, "I'm going straight for the takedown, get you down, try to choke you out eventually," and she eventually got there.
And she's probably going to use
armbar
the
in
same
second round.
strategy against Lee.
And I
right?
believe that with Lee, we saw Lee's deficiencies in her takedown defense against Ashley Evans Smith. So I think this is where Montana De La Rosa is going to be able to capitalize, and I think that she has the better top game than Ashley Evans Smith too. So I think that we'll be able to see her hold down Andrea Lee. But with that said, if Andrea Lee's able to keep this fight on the feet, or if this fight is longer on the feet than it is on the ground, I think that De La Rosa's in for a tough night.
Yep.
Andrea Lee's striking is really good. She shows, great feints. She slips very well. Her kicks are amazing too. So I think she definitely has the advantage on the feet here, a decisive advantage. But I love Montana De La Rosa's keenness and ability to get this fight to the ground, or any fight to the ground for that matter. And I think that she could implement that game style on some of these top 10, top 5 girls up until she meets a girl like Tatiana Suarez or Valentina Shevchenko, or even if Cynthia Calvillo. I don't know if she's at 125 now, but we've seen her lose to her in the past. So I'm very high on her grappling, and I want to see her kind of come to in this fight, which is why I'm so anticipating it, so much anticipation for it.
Yeah, fair enough.
So it's not like a huge name, right? You're going with the top, contender fight at 125. I'm going with something a little bit more off the beaten path. That's because I'm a nerd. Plain and simple. Anything else you want to touch on before we fucking wrap this shit up? Like, there was a hefty amount of things that we could choose from in terms of covering for this episode.
Yeah,
but I think that we
just some good fight announcements, I guess, going forward. The Rory Lima too. And
yes. Mirbek Taisumov coming back finally to fight fucking Diego Ferreira.
Yeah,
that's a great fucking fight. I'm really looking forward to that. Shevchenko, Liz Carmouche got announced, so Shevchenko should be able to get that L back. There was one more I'm trying to remember that they announced that was pretty big. Derek Brunson's fighting Ian Heinisch, so a big step up for Ian Heinisch. Happy for him. That's pretty much it on my end.
Yeah, that pretty much is it.
MMA Lawcast is up for UFC Greenville. Make sure you guys check that out. I got a couple bets up. One of them got my lock of the night play got busted because John Lineker had to fucking pull out. So that fucking sucks. But then I replaced it with I already had a 3-unit play on Hanato Moicano and Brian Barberena as a parlay at plus 104. So I added an extra 2 units to make it a lock of the night play. And those were at plus 100. So getting plus money on a lock of the night play is not usual. I'm very happy to get the plus money here, and I'm very confident in it as well, especially with Brian Barberena doing what he's doing. And then Hanato Moicano hopefully outstriking and then finishing Chancellor Young later in the fight. What else do I got going on? Tape Index is out. Make sure you guys always check that out on Newsom's website. He's fucking killing it. We're doing really well with the Tape Index and getting a lot of good reception for it. And this podcast, the best way you can support it, like the video, comment below, subscribe to the channel, hit us up on YouTube, hashtag Combatosseurs. It's on all platforms for you guys as well as Stitcher, Spotify. So if you guys just want to listen to the audio, hit that up. Otherwise, YouTube is probably the best version. We love fucking just seeing you guys and you guys seeing us. And one day you guys will see Rob as well, so that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much on my end. I'll see you guys on Monday when I record UFC Minneapolis, which is Ngannou versus Dos Santos. So I'll see you guys next week. But me and Tony will be back in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Right before the UFC 239 card. So we'll make sure we'll touch on that a little bit for you guys and get that out.
That's Jones, right?
That's Jones and Santos.
Nice.
As well as Holly Holm and Amanda Nunes. So
oh, wow.
Yeah, big fights.
All right.
Yeah, that's pretty much it on my behalf. Tony's, Glitch, Big Rob.
Yeah.
We're out of here.
Later.